Hey guys, my name is Francisco Hernandez, and today I'm going to show you step by step how I use off-camera flash on location. The process I'm going to be showing you today is going to be the exact same process I always do whenever I'm using lighting, no matter if it's in full sunlight or in complete darkness. Before I continue, I do want to let you know that this video is sponsored by Adorama. Adorama is an industry-leading retailer that has been serving photography, videography, and audio customers for almost 50 years now. Their motto is everyone is a creator, and they do their best to unleash that creator within all of us by providing us with the tools and expertise necessary to get the job done. I personally shop with Attribution because of the great deals that they have on products that I both use and recommend, plus the great customer service on those products as well. If you find yourself interested in any of the products that I'm going to be using in today's video, check out the description area below for links to those products, and be sure to use those links if you want to order. Alright, so the very first thing that I always do no matter what is expose for the ambient. And all that means is adjusting my settings till I like how the background looks like. So because it is a very bright day today, I am going to stick to the lowest native ISO on my camera, which is ISO 100. And I'm also going to stick to the widest aperture because I like those bokeh backgrounds. So I'm primarily going to just adjust the shutter speed today. I do typically utilize ND filters for my photo shoots, but for the sake of simplicity for this tutorial, I won't use an ND filter in today's video and instead use an ND filter in an upcoming video. Like I said before, I'm primarily going to just adjust the shutter speed, but I do want to take a picture at the current settings that I left my camera on when I previously used it to show you an unideal setting for this environment. All right, 1, 2, and 3. So like I said before, I actually do like wide apertures, and right now I'm at f4. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the aperture to be at the widest, which is going to be f2. I'm also going to adjust the ISO to be the lowest native ISO, which is 100. And now I'm going to go ahead and just adjust the shutter speed till I like how the ambient looks like, how that background looks like. 1, 2, 3. One thing I did want to point out is that she is in complete shade here. It is going to be a little bit more difficult if there's like pockets of sunlight coming through a tree and landing on her. The ideal situation that you want to be in is either in complete shade or completely full of sunlight. Obviously, I didn't have my transmitter on yet, but that's actually very key to adjusting the ambient exposure. You don't want to have any sort of flash transmitter on. You definitely want to leave the transmitter off or on the camera and just turned off. So now that I do have the ambient settings exactly how I want to, now I can go ahead and turn on the flash. Since it is very bright outside, I am going to go ahead and leave the Explorer 400 Pro and the 300 Pro behind her. I am going to go ahead and start at the lowest output. I typically would start at the highest output and then adjust down. But just to show you guys exactly what's going on with the lowest output, I'll go ahead and take a shot with that so you can see exactly how underpowered it is and how no flash is registering on camera. All right, 1, 2, and 3. It is also very important to have high-speed sync enabled on your transmitter. Right now, I didn't have it enabled, so that very last shot, you can actually see that the shutter speed is at 1/250th of a second. If I didn't have high-speed sync available in my flash, then I would actually be stuck at that level, 1/250th of a second, and I would have to either adjust the ISO lower, if possible, or adjust the aperture to be more narrow, which I actually don't like. And now I can take another shot. 1, 2, 3. So as you can see on the screen, it doesn't look like the flash even fired. That's because they're both at the lowest outputs available, 1/256th. So I'm going to go really high in output. I'm going to go to like half power. So now I'm going to go ahead and take another shot. 1, 2, 3. And now I actually do have a shot where the flash is actually showing up on her. But I'm going to go ahead and turn off the rim light, the 300 Pro with the strips off box, because I do want you guys to see exactly what's being built up, how the light on A looks like, and then how the light on B looks like. 1, 2, 3. Keep the pose there. 1, 2, and 3. And with the second picture with the rim light on, you can see the little bit of extra rim light on the side of her. But actually, when it was turned off, it actually looked perfectly fine. You usually need a rim light whenever you have a dark outfit with a dark background. You want to separate the subject from that background, so a rim light would help in that instance. But because she has a kind of dark outfit and a very bright background, the rim light isn't so necessary. So now that I have the main light at half power, it looks pretty good when it comes to how much light is showing up on her. But now I can just pretty much take some pictures of her at different compositions. gonna take one shot as a behind the scenes. All right, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Yeah, we're done. I hope you guys enjoyed this photo shoot, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial overall. I hope you learned something that you might have not known before. If you have any questions at all about anything that I went over in today's video, let me know in the comment section below and I'll reply as soon as possible. To reiterate what I've gone through in the process that I always do whenever I use off-camera flash, it's always going to be expose for the ambient and then add your flash. If you decide to use continuous lights, then it's going to be expose for the ambient and then add your continuous light. Once again, exposing for the ambient just means adjusting your camera settings till you like how the background looks like. In daytime with really bright sun, I would advise to use a low ISO, the lowest native ISO. For me, that's gonna be ISO 100, and then decide what aperture you want to use. I tend to use wide apertures, so that's usually around f1.4. And then the thing that I'm mainly adjusting throughout my photo shoot is the shutter speed. If you wanna go for a more natural light looking shot, then I would say don't use too high of a shutter speed. And if you do want to really make that ambient very, very low like I usually do, then that's gonna be a fast shutter speed. If you wanna work in a low light environment, then you're gonna do the exact opposite of during the daytime. And instead of lowering the ambient, you're gonna instead bring up the ambient. And you can do that one of 3 ways, either raising the ISO, slowing down the shutter speed, or using a wide aperture. I would suggest using the slow shutter speed that you can manage without any motion blur. For me, that's 1/100th of a second. Using the widest aperture, and then using whatever the highest ISO that your camera can handle. For me, that's actually gonna be 6400, but I know that older cameras can only handle up to 200 or even 400 ISO before it gets too grainy. And that's pretty much it. I wanna give one last shout out to Adorama for sponsoring this video. Again, it really does help me dedicate more time to my channel and making free content for you guys, so definitely check them out. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.